Spotify is one of the most prolific places to stream music and podcasts. This week, they announced on their website that they will be introducing a direct messaging function. That means that while using the app and listening to music, you can send other Spotify users text messages and send them songs directly. You can also react with emojis. We don't know yet if you'll be able to send photos from your photo album back and forth, but hopefully that will not be permissible. According to Irving Times, a lot of users on Spotify were confused by this and didn't like the change. They just want to listen to music. They don't want to chat with people while listening to music. Other people enjoy this idea because then they'll be able to interact more with people who share their music taste. They'll be able to more easily share music with friends on Spotify. And direct messaging is always a way to build connections. And herein lies the problem. So personally speaking, before I get into the rest of the video, and I'm telling you it gets dark really fast, my initial reaction is, why would you do that? If I could remove one thing from most sites that aren't Instagram or Facebook, it would be the direct messaging feature. As somebody who has spent a significant amount of my adult life baiting and reporting patties, which is my word for adults who are interested in children and want to communicate and connect with them, the direct messaging feature is the biggest weapon that patties can use to prey on children. I found this with Quora and I found this with Pinterest, and both Quora and Pinterest would be so much safer if that direct messaging feature were removed. Pinterest doesn't allow you to send photos, but it does allow you to send pins on the site, and if you upload inappropriate images on Pinterest, you can send them to people via direct messages. Now, fortunately, in 2023, Pinterest changed its policy, so now if you're under 18, you cannot message anyone at all on Pinterest. So thank you, Pinterest, for being one of the only social media platforms that actually does care about their children who use the site. Quora has made no such effort to curb the sharing of photos or messages. On Quora, if you're a child, most likely you're getting multiple DMs from adults a day, and you can get unsolicited, explicit photos from adults on Quora on a day-to-day basis. That happened to me when I pretended to be 12 on Quora, and it happens to real children on Quora all the time. I worry that with Spotify introducing this DM function, that the same thing will happen, and it turns out you don't even need direct messaging on Spotify for children to be harmed. In January 2023, Manchester Evening News reported that an 11-year-old girl was being groomed by a secret patty community on Spotify. The way that this community was doing this was by creating playlists, which you can do on Spotify, and giving the playlists explicit names like I Send Nudes. The playlist would have pornographic images as their thumbnails. Playlists are one of the only ways you can upload photos to Spotify. You can upload photos straight from your photo album, and they can be pretty much anything you want. And this individual claiming to be a 12-year-old boy reached out to this 11-year-old girl in Greater Manchester via email, and he told her to send him explicit videos of herself. He also tagged her in playlists with these explicit names and explicit photos and told her to do the same, to upload explicit photos to the playlist on Spotify. What's really interesting that I now think about is, why didn't he just ask her to send these via email? Why did he need her to do this on Spotify? To me, it almost seems like there was something like humiliating or exhibitionist about it, like he wanted her to humiliate herself and have other people view her publicly rather than a private email. Basically, it took way too long and too much reporting from the mother herself to finally get these images taken off Spotify. After the story came out, some Spotify representatives said, "Spotify takes the safety of minors on our platform extremely seriously, and we do not allow content that promotes, solicits, or facilitates child sexual abuse or exploitation." Basically just a PR statement. But even though they claim this, and they claim that they have protections in place to take down explicit and illegal content, it still was not fast enough for this child to not upload photos of herself to Spotify and not have them saved by this patty. And the reason I bring this up is because patties will use any app where they can access children to access children. And allowing a site like Spotify to include DMs just provides less protection between children and patties who use this app. I also want to mention that when the mother of this 11-year-old girl called the police, they said that all they could do was try to trace the guy's email, and that if he lived in another country, there was nothing they could do because different countries, different rules. I've often found that when using Pinterest and Quora, there is a lot that people in non-Western countries can get away with based on their country's legality, and if you were to post even a fraction of as suggestive photos from a Western country like the United States or England, it would get taken down instantly and your account could be suspended. But the thing is, there is supposedly a secret patty community on Spotify that has playlists with explicit names, and if you look up explicit names in the search bar on Spotify, this is according to the BBC News, and this is according to UK Daily Mail. I haven't checked this myself, I don't want to, the idea makes me sick, but apparently if you look up explicit terms in the search bar, you will find playlists with pornographic images as the thumbnail. And while Spotify claims to be active in removing this, there are not enough moderators. Moderators often don't catch things, and if these are being uploaded from IPs in different countries, they just might not be noticed as easily, or the moderators in their country simply might not care because it's not illegal in every single country. So that being said, I am adamantly against the idea of Spotify using the DM function until they can ensure that children are as safe on Spotify as they are on like Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, where yes, things do happen, but there are way more protective measures in place because so many children are interactive on this app, or until they do what Pinterest did, and Pinterest actually removes the DM function for children. Spotify is planning on only allowing individuals 16 and up to use the chat function, but children can easily lie about their age, and Spotify is not one of those places that requires an ID to prove your age. I know that it sucks to have social media have access to your private data, and we don't want to give social media access to our private data because leaks can come out and hackers can access it, but in order to keep children safe, if social media sites are not willing to put in protective safety measures and protect their children from predatory adults on the site, then they have to start requiring IDs to prove that you're over the age of 18 if you want to make an account. I just think that the direct messaging feature on Spotify is going to lead to so many kids getting hurt so quickly. So now, if there are any adults or parents watching or people who know children in their lives, it is so important to teach your kids, don't give emails to strangers on the internet. Never, ever send explicit photos, no matter who asks you, if you know them in person, if you don't, if they claim to be your age, if they don't. And if they ever feel uncomfortable or think something is weird, tell the parents. They're not going to be mad. Just talk to them. We need to protect our kids because social media platforms will not hold patties responsible.